This is Simplified Trucks at R&L Certified Auto Group. How can I help you?
Yeah, I just want to know the price of that 2015 GMC Sierra.
Yeah, certainly, man. I'd be happy to do that. When can we get you in for the test drive?
Yeah, 'cause my sister just got out of the hospital. She got the COPD, and then, my cousin, he backed into the fence the other day, and that cost me about 200 to fix. And then, my dog, you see, my dog, he got into the backyard. He started chewing up a bunch of stuff, and then that cost me about $50. And then, and then, and then, and then my cousin, he's an alcoholic, so he's always asking me for money. And then, yeah, so I can gonna give about 300 down.
Yes, sir. We can work with that. When can we get you in for the test drive so we can do the paperwork and
Another thing, I'm coming in from Dallas, so I don't really know where I'm gonna be able to make it in. I might be able to make it in next month, but hell, everything going on with my sister with the COPD, and then my son's doing bad at school, so I really gotta watch him. And then yeah, I gotta find a babysitter. I might get my auntie to come watch him, but so it's gonna be kind of hard for me to get over there. I live in Dallas and such. I'm always toting stuff. I'm just trying to find a new truck for work, but there's a lot going on, man. And then 12 years ago, when I went to buy a car, it was a lot easier, man. Nowadays you got this social media. I don't know how to work all this stuff, and yeah, I might be able to make it down next week, but then again, I got the gas price, man. Gas prices up there about $3 a gallon, $3-4 a gallon. That ain't no good, man. Trump's supposed to make America great again. I love what he's doing. I love Trump, but you know, these gas prices are pretty high, man. Then I gotta take my brother. I gotta take my brother down to Corpus. I gotta tote something down there, so I really need a truck. But I live in Dallas, and then I gotta drive all the way around, man. And I was born back in 1960. 1960, we didn't have all these problems, man. They'll just circle around, man. I really need that truck. So I just want to know the price, man. I want to know the price before I do anything, man. I only make about, $800 a month Social Security. It's a funny story. When I got on Social Security disability, I got on about 15 years ago. I was working in the oil field for about 25 years. This damn pipe just sprouted up, hit me in the back of the leg. And, then I was damn, I thought I was paralyzed, but I wasn't paralyzed really. I just had to be in a wheelchair for a little bit. But the Lord got me through it. Good Lord got me through it. I got through it, and then fast forward about 15 years later. I was talking to my cousin, and my cousin worked in the oil field, and he was a damn roughneck. You know what I mean? He did that real hard work. You know what I mean? So you fast forward about 10 years. I was working. So I was a truck. I was a truck driver. Around the time he was doing that. But no, let me restart. So you go back to when I was about 7 years old.